Hey everybody, it's your old pal Steve Moore here from Run More, the spectacular brick and mortar running shop located in Westminster, Maryland. Today we're doing a little 2 for Tuesday and we're talking about the brand new Altra Escalante 4 and the Escalante Racer. So let's get into some of the specs here. The Escalante 4 comes out on May 1st and it's $130. This is a 24 millimeter stack height shoe featuring ultra standard fit. And the Racer is $140, also comes out on May 1st. It's a 22 millimeter stack height, a zero drop shoe, and also a standard fit from Altra. The Escalante, or as I call it, the Escalante, because every time somebody says it, I think of the Eagles song. This shoe, when it first came out, the OG Escalante, was like a game changer. This was one of the first shoes that I really remember that had that like responsive midsole to it. And it was such a huge breath of fresh air in like the shop and for the brand, and really for a lot of people, this was the shoe that kind of turned them on to the brand. And when people come in here and they're looking for the most minimal shoe we carry, you know, this is the shoe that we kind of pulled out for such a long time. It was light, it was flexible, it was snappy, it had great energy return, it had like a nice fun upper that was much more accommodating. But over the years, like the updates have been far and few between on the Escalante, and some of the changes have not jived with people that love the Escalante 1 so much. So it's been 2 years since there's been a good update on the Escalante, and I know people have been excited. And you know, a lot of people, while the 3 has done well for us, there's still a lot of people pining for the original comfort and fit of the OG original Escalante. And I kind of wanted to show you what like the Escalante 3 is for those who don't know. And I think one of the things that people felt, and myself included, was that the Escalante 3 started to feel more like a shoe. And like, that's a dumb thing to say, but like, it just felt more like a shoe that was meant for everyday training, but was heavier. It didn't have the same flexibility. It didn't feel as minimal. It was getting heavier. The uppers were getting less flexible. It was becoming more restrictive. It fit narrower. There was sizing stuff on some of the previous iterations, and like some people just felt that this shoe didn't feel like that lightweight, fun performance trainer. It didn't feel like a slipper like the original one did, and that's what people felt like on the original. Was like, this is a slipper that bounces, and it felt like it was going further and further away from it. So I know I was very excited to see version 4, to see if we were going more towards a shoe or more towards the OG, and we kind of, at least to me personally, we kind of fall somewhere in between. So like, the stack height has not changed. They're both still 24 millimeters. The midsole has not changed. It's still just your traditional Ego midsole from Altra, which is their energy return, fun, bouncy shoe. So like, the specs of that shoe haven't changed, and just popping them on. Now again, this is just a demo, so I wasn't like I was able to log some miles in it, but like just trying them on and walking around for a few hours with a 3 on and a 4 on, I didn't feel much difference in the softness of the shoe. And I know some people wished that the 3 was a little bit softer. It did sort of soften up the more you ran in it, but just out of the box, I didn't feel tremendous differences between how soft the 4 was versus the 3. But I will tell you, it just feels much more minimal. It just feels like it did older ago. Not so much in like the cushion level, but just the breathability, the way the upper is, the stretch of it, you know, because we just didn't have that on the other ones. And that also helps accommodate for some of the shaving of the weight, because the 3 got so heavy, in my opinion, it got up to double digits. It was a 10-ounce shoe. So now we've cut down, you know, almost a half an ounce of weight on the version 4, and you can feel it right away. And the upper on it makes it just seem much more minimal. They've lowered some of the sides to it. They changed just a little bit of the cushion around it. The tongue is much different. The tongue is much thinner now, much more like, you know, it has the potential to maybe bundle up on you a little bit, but they've changed the lacing pattern to try to make sure it stays flat. Just a couple little things that will allow the shoe to stay more wide through the forefoot. So they addressed some of the fit things that people didn't necessarily love about the 3 and made it a much more like old friend than sort of the new shoe that I was feeling with this. So I hope that kind of makes sense conceptually of where I think they were going with the 4. I think we're kind of returning to where it used to be. I still would like to see a little more flexibility to it, or maybe just, I don't know, some sort of change in the midsole, because that is the same midsole for so many years now. It'd be nice to see something just a little bit different that way. But I'd like the change in it. I think it fits well. I think the sizing should be good. I think it accommodates wider. It feels lighter. It's more breathable. So I think the things that a lot of people liked on the old ones, they should hopefully feel happy with on version 4. And then moving on over to the Racer, which also really needed an update. It had been several years since the Escalante Racer came out. And you know, a lot of people did the yin and yang, right? They would train in an Escalante and they would race in an Escalante Racer. Hey, look at that, it's right in the name. It tells you exactly what you're meant to do with it. It's just a baby Escalante. You know, again, I would love to have seen like a different type of midsole in this, maybe like an Ego Pro or something a little more super critical, or just something that had a little more pop to it, but they really stuck to their roots. The difference between our Escalante and our Escalante Racer is 2 millimeters. That's really, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about, is we have a 24 millimeter Ego midsole, 0 drop Ultra versus a 22 millimeter Ego drop. Standard fit, all those things are the same between these, but we just have a lighter, bouncier package. For some reason, we made that change and this shoe costs 10 bucks more, even though it's less midsole to it, and there's not really a whole lot of other bells and whistles separating these two models. That's why it's kind of interesting that the pricing difference between these two. But you can see just even like the materials they're using on our upper, much more breathable, a little more stretchy. You know, it has that performance look to it. And I know that's like, I kind of jive. I kind of like when I could see my socks on like a racing shoe. I don't necessarily love it on like an everyday trainer, but there is something kind of cool about putting it on and seeing what you're looking down at your little feeties in there on your racing shoes, because I always think of that. That's just that much weight that's off my shoe. That's just gonna make me go that much faster. So I don't know whether it's in my psyche or not. I kind of do like that little change in the upper between the Standard and the Racer on that version as well. Well, there you have it, the Escalante 4 and the Escalante Racer 2. Thank you so much for watching our channel, and if you wanted to purchase either of these fine products, we'll have a link down below, and if you enter our promo code RUNMORE, you'll save 10% and you'll get free shipping on your order. If you want to leave any questions or comments down below on the Escalante, do it. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can, and if you find yourself in the greater Westminster, Maryland area, stop on by and say hello. Thank you so much, happy running, and we'll see you around town.